Hello my lovelies, and welcome back to Allotment of the Dead. Nothing better than having a coffee down the plot when it's kind of 7 or 8 degrees at the minute. 7 degrees in here. So I've spent a lot of time down here today cutting back everything in both polytunnels to try and see if I can overwinter any of the chilies that we've got. Not something I've tried before. Normally at this point I've just taken everything out, I've cut everything up, I've put it in the compost or taken it down the tip. Either way, if it was diseased, I've put it into down to the tip. But this year I've, again, scientist by trade, so I'm experimenting a little bit. I'm going to leave everything in the ground, keep an eye on it because I need to make sure there's nothing kind of coming in mouldy or anything like that. But I'm going to see if I can get any of these to start growing again for next season. That will mean that I don't necessarily have to replant or sow some of these plants again. Plants from the previous year will always seemingly give you a higher yield, and these are no exception. So chilies are perennials. Given the right circumstances. The thing about the UK and the UK weather, as you've seen recently with these frosts and -5 degrees temperatures, it's not going to be conducive to having really good conditions for overwintering chilies. The best you can get is taking them home, and I know if I was to take this home, I would probably have my wife really upset. Because it's going to end up being probably taking up half the kitchen, and it's going to be a right old mess. And needless to say, you're probably going to bring in things like compost nuts and things like that, which again you don't want really in your house. Aphids as well. The thing about insects at the moment, especially this cold weather, is they're all trying to find places to overwinter themselves. Majority of insects will go into hibernation to an extent, and then you'll end up basically having a whole new generation coming out the following year. And yeah, I don't want to be taking this into the house and in effect making a breeding ground for all manner of insects and things inside the house. So this is the last one I've got left to cut back, and it is one that I thought I would leave till last because it's I've got a lot of, I guess, compassion for this one, a lot of respect, and I want to try and keep this one alive, and partly because this is a plant that I didn't grow myself. This was sent to me from Eric, hence why it was always called Eric's Carolina Reaper. And as you can see, even though it's looking absolutely knackered now, it's had quite a few pods on it. A lot of them have gone past their best now, but it's had a lot of pods on it, which again I've put into a really hot ferment that I'm making for a chili sauce. It's probably going to be the hottest chili sauce you could probably ever make, because it's got Carolina Reapers, it's got the Dragon's Breath chili, and it's also got the remaining 3 warthog chilies in it. So it's going to be one hell, well, I'll probably call it something like Hell's Teeth or something like that, because it's going to be massively hot, I think. I'm going to try and tone it down. Maybe I'm going to half it and tone it down with a couple of other things. I mean, you can use fruit, but you can also use things like beetroot and things like that. Beetroot makes a fantastic chili sauce. So I might give that a go, and we'll see what happens. Right, so for this particular plant, I was going to repot it up into another pot. I've got some compost as well, so I think I might still try and do that. The main reason for repotting something is when you're overwintering it inside the house, it gets rid of all the nasties and things that are going to be potentially around the roots. Now, I'm not necessarily going to take this home, so I'm going to top dress this with a bit more fresh compost and a bit of straw, and see if I can actually get it to overwinter. I might even put a bit of fleece around this one, just to see. Right, as you can see, it's quite a large plant. It's got a lot going on. So the first thing for overwintering is you need to take off any fruit that's still there, and these are still green now, and you'd expect that at this time of year. Green and soggy after that last unfortunate frost. We got another one over here. Okay, so that one's looks like it's something's had a go at it. It's tried to be eaten. That one I think I might take home. And I think there is one more on here. Oh, there's a couple on here. So a couple more green ones. So again, they've gone a bit soft, and you'd expect that, but I can potentially throw these in the freezer as they are. This is exactly how they would be if you were to put them in your freezer yourself. When they come out, they do go a little bit soggy, but what you can do is use them out of the freezer. You can chop them up and they will still be fine. I've got another little one there. Okay, so the first thing to do with any chili you want overwintering is take whatever pods are left on there, and then you want to kind of have a look at the plant and see kind of where the branches are and things like that. So you want to chop out anything that's crossing, same as you would pruning any perennial tree or anything like that. But the other thing with this is you want to go and cut back to what they call the second node. So if you look at the plant, you'll see wherever there is a branching off, so you've got a node, and this node is potentially where new branches will form. So you've got a node here where it's split into two, and then this is the second node. So this is this point at which you want to cut it. So you're going to want to cut everything off above that node, leaving it with a couple of, in effect, like that. Let me show you that a bit closer. There is the first node here, and then your second node is just here where it's branching off again. You see here, everywhere there you get stems coming off is a node. So you'll get you'll get branches coming off at that point. So that'll be where your new growth is for next season. Right, let me set this back up again. Looking at the sky. Okay, so the tool of the job for this one is a nice clean pair of snips, secateurs, as long as they're nice and clean. You don't want to be introducing disease and things into the cut surfaces like mold and things like that. So what we'll do is we'll find those nodes. So you've got the one here, second node, so then we'll chop off there and there, and we'll put it into our bin. So first node, second node, and off they come. And I know this is going to look pretty brutal. So I've got one node, second node, first node, second node. So you see all the leaves are coming off with this as well. The thing about these leaves now, because they've actually been hit by the frost, they're not going to be functional. In fact, if anything, there'll be a source of actually disease in the plant, which is something you don't really want. Okay, so this is quite a large branch. First node, second node, and the same here. Okay, first node there, second node here. Then again there. Oh, looks like there's a reaper on there. I'll cut it up a bit smaller as we go. So this one here, first node is here, second node is there. So that one there, again, get rid of any debris on the way. Okay, first node, second node here. take off any of the old leaves as well that might be there. Okay, we'll shift it around a bit. Okay, so we've got the one here. Get rid of some of the leaves. So first node's quite a big node, second node, and second node's there. And there. Okay, first node, second node. Again, get rid of any of these extraneous things like that. You just kind of, you can cut those off. Okay, so we've got the one at the back here, first node, second node. Okay, second node is all the way up here. Again, we'll remove the leaves. First node, second node, second node. That one's overlapping a bit as well. This one's a dead one, so we'll take that one out. Okay, we've got the first node is here, second node really close to the top, so I'm just going to chop that one out, I think. Okay, now we've got this center stem here, which is looking a bit manky. Let's get rid of all the debris. Okay, so first node, second node. Okay, and then all the little spindly ones, we'll chop those out as well. I know I've got some spiders and things in here. Okay, right, so that gives us this kind of bushy looking thing here. You kind of make a decision whether or not you need to chop anything more out. Now I'm tempted to leave it like that and just see what comes of it, see if anything grows back at this point from there. So let me just shift that out of the way. So you can see that Eric's Reaper has now had a hell of a haircut, and it potentially is ready for next season. So what I am going to do is, like I say, top dress with some compost. Ugh. So this is just some fresh compost that I bought recently, just a little bit of Jack's Magic. Okay, that will help to protect the roots a little bit. Okay, what we'll do now is avoid dropping soil into my tea. We'll get some straw. Okay, and we'll put some straw around this. Again, it will help to mulch it. It will help to keep the the frost off the roots as well. Okay, so that is Eric's Carolina Reaper, all nicely ready, put to bed. As I say, I'm going to probably wrap some fleece around it. Hopefully that will keep it nice and warm, or say maybe help to keep the frost off the branches and things. Whenever you're putting anything like fleece around something, you have to check it every so often just to see whether or not you've got any kind of disease, putrefaction of the plant, that sort of thing happening. Okay, so we'll put that to one side and I'll show you this one. So this one has been outside all season and now it is looking absolutely knackered. Let me get my gloves. I think, have I got my gloves? Okay, I definitely need my gloves for this one. Right. Okay, so I was just going to get a normal pair of gloves, but then looking at how spiky this is still, I'm definitely not going to be doing that. So I'm going to get the SLARMOR gloves. These were kindly sent to me from the company to trial. I used it to cut back some bramble up at the top plot, and they were absolutely fantastic. So I'm hoping, let me just see, potentially I might have to wear one for now and the secateurs. Right, so the first thing I'm going to show you, so this is Naranjilla. So Naranjilla is the same family as tomatoes and chilies and aubergines. You see aubergines have got these really hefty spikes on them, and this plant is no exception. The spikes on this are lethal. But as with everything that's been outside at the moment, everything is dead. So I'm going to need to cut back the dead leaves, get rid of any, ow, I don't know why I said ow then, because I didn't feel anything. Get rid of anything that might potentially be rotting on the plant. So that includes old kind of flowers that were on here. We'll chop the top off there as well. You see there's leaves still trying to grow here, but they're not going to come to anything because the frost has got them. I have also lost one of the fruit on here that I hadn't realised. So all of these leaves are really sharp. They're really, I'd go as far as to say brutal. Every single one of these has got kind of little spines on it, much the same way as some aubergines have. So yeah, this is no exception to that. So what we'll do, as I say, is get rid of all the leaves first, and then I'll show you the fruit. I don't think I'm going to actually open the fruit here. I'm going to take it home, and then I'll put another video together of trying it, because again, it's something I've not tried before. It would be nice to see what it tastes like. I'm hoping it's going to be all right. It should be okay. Right, again, reducing this particular plant to just a series of stems, and I'm so glad I've got the gloves on here. I don't know if you can hear that. Okay, so on the plants you'll see what look like a couple of furry appendages, or whatever you want to see them as. So we've got 4 of them here, not particularly big, these ones, but again, so these are the fruit of the Naranjilla. They're furry. They were actually quite sharp. It's almost as if the little hairs on them was quite sharp. They look a little bit like a kiwi fruit, but nowhere close. It's a different family. So what we'll do is we'll chop those off, and you can see there, that's quite a nice big fruit off this one. First time I've got fruit off the Naranjilla, and it's the first time I'm going to try it. So again, I'm going to try and overwinter this particular plant inside. I'm going to leave it in the polytunnel and hopefully we can end up with some decent growth next season. Right, if you guys want to try overwintering, you know, it's one of those things you're not going to lose anything by trying it. If anything, you'll actually gain that benefit of having a really I guess a ready plant, ready to go for next year, that doesn't need to kind of grow from seed. Keeping it alive in the winter period is going to be a challenge though, especially with this Naranjilla. It's a tropical fruit most of the time. It's native to Peru and Ecuador and Brazil and Mexico, so it's not something that potentially I think will probably last that winter period, but we'll see. Again, I'm going to top dress it with some more compost and put some straw on this one as well, and then I'm going to leave it in the polytunnel here and see what happens. Right, thanks for joining me today guys in this really cold weather. I do need to get my sweet peas in. That was what I was planning on doing today, but I kind of, when I come down here and saw the state of the chilies, I thought, okay, I'm going to have to sort those out first. But yeah, if you're going to get any gloves, SLARMOR, fantastic company, fantastic gloves. These are all leather. You can't go wrong with them. And as I say, it's definitely something that I'll be using a lot of. Yeah, fantastic company. Right, all the best guys, take care, bye bye.